Namaskar and a very good evening to everyone. On the behalf of the history enthusiasts, I welcome you all to the fifth lecture of our ongoing series Itihasotsava, Daastaan-e-watan, a year-long celebration of voices that have shaped, challenged and reimagined the story of India. As many of you know, Itihasotsava was born out of the realization that 7 days are not enough to contain the richness of our past. Every year on the anniversary of the history enthusiasts, we used to have Itihasotsava. But this year, to mark the fifth anniversary of the history enthusiasts, we have stretched time itself to make space for more voices, more nuance, more truths, both remembered and forgotten. So, first of all, I would like to welcome our resource person for today, Dr. B. Susheela, a former professor, Department of English, Jyoti Nivas College, Bengaluru, and Department of Research, University of Kentucky, USA. Welcome to the history enthusiasts platform, ma'am. Sorry for that. It is also an honor to welcome our honorary president, Shri Nandan Shastri ji, whose constant presence and guidance continues to inspire the spirit of this platform. And each lecture in this series brings us closer to those figures who may not always feature prominently in our textbooks, but whose influence quietly shaped the fabric of our nation. And today we reflect on one such iconic figure, Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay. A woman whose contributions span the realms of freedom, culture, art, feminism, and institution building. And welcoming the audience, of course. Sorry for that. I welcome the members of the audience. And before we begin this evening's talk, allow me to introduce our esteemed speaker. Dr. B. Susheela, a distinguished academic and researcher who brings to this session a rare blend of literary insight, historical understanding, and decades of teaching experience. Dr. Susheela has served as a professor in the Department of English at Jyoti Nivas College, Bengaluru, and was associated with the Department of Research at University of Kentucky, USA, with over 33 years of experience in teaching English language, literature, and history. She has mentored generations of students, scholars, and professionals. She holds multiple academic degrees in English, history, education, and French, and has published over 80 research papers in national and international journals. She is also an award-winning poet, having recently received the Panorama International Award for Literature in Greece, that is in 2025, as well as the Global Teaching Excellence Award 2020 for her outstanding contribution to education. Dr. Susheela is not only a prolific academic, but also a committed social contributor involved with organizations such as the Greenpeace Association, Spit Free India Movement, and Blind Association of India. She is sought after soft skills trainer, FDP resource person, and has conducted countless workshops across disciplines. Her areas of interest range from Indian writing in English, post-colonial studies, and American literature to gender studies, diaspora literature, and children's literature. She has co-authored a book on gender and feminism and is currently working on her second. Dr. Susheela's work represents the spirit of interdisciplinary thought and social commitment, qualities that resonate deeply with the legacy of Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay. So please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. B. Susheela to share her insights with us this evening. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Manali. And very happy and honored to be a part of this vibrant group. I'm very happy to see and honor our esteemed President, Dr. Professor Nandan Shastri. With your permission, may I start? Okay. The early woman was intensely occupied from dawn to dusk in keeping the tribe alive. Today, too, she is immensely occupied, but her sufferings have not changed much. The problems and issues related to women that that move around the margin earlier steadily shifted to the center. The importance of women cannot be ignored because they not only participated in the struggle of independence movement in India and also in different countries but and have been trying to put forth themselves in all the fields of life, including art and literature, in order to be self-dependent. Eminent women in India and around the world are making a difference. There are unsung heroes who, day by day, in villages and communities around the world, are building better lives for the society. As from the genesis of human origin, women have been playing its primary role as a homemaker, which has helped the human civilization to envision prosperity and reach the enduring heights of greatness. One cannot ignore the fact that women form a large, potential, unstopped human resource reserve. Increasing education opportunities for women's growth and development in political, economic, and social endeavor. Increasing education opportunities for women and other improved legal and social security system had contributed towards their development. Gender differences has always been enshrined in the religious and social laws which have limited the roles which a woman can perform all the spheres in comparison to men and hence have retarded their progress and development for all these years. Our world has witnessed women performing great roles as leaders, administrators, and entrepreneurs. These great women personalities have indeed given enough proof that they are all in possible ways equal to men. Thus, it clearly indicates that only today's world needs both men and women to work together in making the world a better place rather than gender-based approach which have been followed for centuries. The spirit of Indian women is omnipotent. The Adipara Shakti, where woman is ultimate protector and creator too. The spirit of Indian womanhood is held so high that Indian culture looks at the earth as Mother Earth and considers rivers as mothers. Perhaps the treatment of women by men might have got polluted down the ages, but no one would deny the power of women as a creator and a protector. Women images reflected in history have been generating much curiosity and discussion since the ancient times. In mythology, both in Eastern and Western women have variously been allotted secondary positions. Though the role of women as a real individual was limited several times, there emerged the figures like goddesses and angels hallowed very much in the divine light, thus providing great power to female characters. Renaissance of 14th to 16th century broke various anti-women stereotypes and presented them in more positive light. A large number of literary gems were written during the age in which women images were humanized to a great extent. In the 20th century literature, women, women's roles enabled them to develop into strong, independent beings. The women are strong, independent females in contrast to the suppressed women to provide examples to young readers and to analyze the limitations of a society. Coming to the Indian context, the female characters, both from mythology as well as from the folk traditions, had to bear the brunt of various prevalent anti women stereotypes. The images of women in distress as a weak, helpless being is a recurring feature. In independent India, saw a rapid increase in the number of women getting education and opting for professional careers. The writings of women in the 20th century began to be regarded as great tools for feminist and modern statement. The image of womanhood are the most signified vehicle for the conveyance of life, vision, or vision of society of the authors in discussion. To sum up, the female protagonist, Kamaladevi, demonstrated ample courage and society but resist themselves from following the path as suggested by their Western counterparts. Instead, she chose to create her or their own paths. India's history is rich with women who have shattered barriers and achieved greatness inspiring in various fields, inspiring generations. I just took a couple of names to name who have created and carved a niche for themselves. Some of the great achievers of India are Sarojini Naidu, Savitri Bai Phule, Arunimita Sinha, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Geeta Gopinath, P.V. Sindhu, Sunita Williams, Arundhati Roy, Aruna Asif, Kalpana Chawla, Indira Gandhi, etc. And the list goes on. On August 15th, 2022, the country commemorated 75 years of independence. The fervor of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav was a vision. Aam Aadmi remembered the sacrifices made by the liberation heroes of Mai Baap Sarkar. However, emphasized on national achievements since independence. From Sardar Patel to Acharya Vinoba Bhave, from Bhagwan Misra to Maharishi Aurobindo, the Prime Minister honored several liberation warriors in the speech at the Red Fort. Additionally, he thought back to the contributions made by women and exemplified the Nari Shakti. Several names were recognized from Rani Lakshmi Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, Durga Bai Deshmukh, Rani Chennamma, and Begum Hazrat Mahal, etc. But there was one whose name did not feature in his address, and that was Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay, whose contribution is at best but scarcely known in India and virtually unknown elsewhere. The purpose of this talk and is this exceptional woman who exhibited the qualities of determination and courage remained in the annals of dark voice, silent and unheard, unseen and unnoticed. Can I see the first slide, please? The second one,
Uh,
please.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, dear. Kamalabai was the fourth and youngest born on April 1903 into a Saraswat Brahmin household, Mangalore, Karnataka. Mother is Girijabai, who came from a land-owning family, Chitrapur Saraswat Brahmin family, from coastal Karnataka, and father is Anantaya Dhareshwar, district collector of Mangalore. Her mother and grandmother gave Kamala a solid foundation and set standards for respect in her voice intellect. Kamala finished primary school at St. Anne's Convent. Unfortunately, Kamala lost her father at a very young age and the family faced tough times. And under these circumstances, she was married at the age of 11, according to the customs followed in those days. Unfortunately, as fate would have had it, she lost her husband in the same year. Kamala stayed in her mother's house, who encouraged her, ensured to continue her schooling, and also protect her from the barbaric customs the child widow suffered then. Even her husband's family too supported at most of her decisions. The early death of her two married sisters, whose their husbands entreated, left a scar on Kamala's psyche. You can see the picture of how brutally they were entreated, Kamala's sisters. Her mother, a strong pillar of strength, supported her in many ways. The idea of getting into politics and was groomed by her mother, who established the Mahila Samaja in 1910 in Mangalore with a library and badminton. This also sprouted the interest of reading whenever she accompanied her mother to the Mahila Samaja. She went to the library and did a lot of reading. She was also interested in sports and took a swing at the badminton. Together, her mother and her grandmother, their presence in the household gave Kamala a firm, no, not yet, first go back to the previous slide, please. A firm grounding provided benchmarks to respect for her intellect as well as her voice, something she came to be known for the future. Next slide, please. Life takes a different turn for Kamala. Kamala was an exceptional student and had qualities of determination and courage from an early age. Her parents befriended many prominent freedom fighters and intellectuals such as Mahadev Govind Ranade, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Ramabai Ranade, Annie Besant, the first women president of Congress. This made young Kamala an early enthusiast of the Swadeshi nationalist movement at the age of 10. Kamala was blessed by Annie Besant at the and she realized the value of education and independence of women, and she was greatly inspired by her mother. Kamala, Kamala Devi's mother shifted her to Madras, now it is called as Chennai, a bustling metropolis, for her elder daughter's treatment, who was ailing at that particular time, and to help Kamala to escape from the conservative Brahmin community of Mangalore. They were probably raising her. There was not a time for the young widows, probably to escape all this conservativeness. Kamala's mother had taken her to Chennai. Next slide, please. Unaffected by the tragedy of being a young widow, she enrolled in the Queen Mary's College in Madras for her higher education. It was here she met the Nightingale of India, Sarojini Naidu, and her brother, Hirendranath Chattopadhyay, her future husband, poet, a playwright, and a noted actor. Perhaps it was love for the theatre made her great bonding with Hirendranath. Kamala's mother, Girija, approved of the bonding and relationship, followed by marriage. In 1920s, widow remarriage was rare, unheard of, and Kamala's mother broke the taboo surrounding the widow remarriage. Kamala and Hirendranath got married in the country's first registered civil marriage. After marriage, her husband left for England to study in Cambridge University. Kamala too followed the next year to pursue her academics in Bedford College in London to pursue a diploma in sociology. With her experience of field work and realized that she wanted to serve the country. Next slide, please. In 1923, while living in London, she learned about Mahatma Gandhiji, his commitment and work towards freedom movement, and when she returned back to India, she made it possible by the real world experience. She immediately joined the Seva Dal, a Gandhian organization dedicated to advancing social justice. She was given the responsibility of recruiting, organizing, training women, girls of all age to become sevikas in the Seva Dal. She devoted her life to Satyagraha movement. Meanwhile, Kamala's husband, Hirendranath, lost interest in his studies and joined his wife in London. After traveling extensively in Europe, they met Hirendranath's elder brother, Vivendranath, in Berlin. who had become a member of the revolutionary group. All of them returned to India in 1922 to continue their political horizon. Kamala and Hirendranath are lovers of theatre and had set up a theatre group and began to tour all over India. The duo play gave skits and plays and and entered and entertained the audience. I'm so sorry. They were blessed with a son, Ramakrishna. Kamala's love for the theatre helped her land in the job with the film industry. She appeared in the silent movie in those days in 1931 called Kartika and one or two Hindi movies, to name a few, Dansan in 1943, then Shankar Parvati in 1943, and Dhana Bajal in 1945. Her husband, too, acted in several films and TV shows, and some of them are notable and very popular plays and films. Just to name a few, I've taken some samples called Shonar Kina, a movie, then Chal Murari Hero Bane, then Ados Pados, a popular TV show in 1980s, then Pawachi, a popular comedy in 1974, Anari, Mehbooba, then Ghunghru Ki Awaaz, then Chalti Ka Naam Zindagi, Tere Ghar Ke Samne, and etc. Teen Deviyan. All these movies were so popular, it created a niche for both husband and wife. Each movie he acted left an indelible mark and became very successful, a theatre person and a movie star. Next slide, please. Kamaladevi's foray into politics. In 1923, while in London, she heard about Gandhiji's non-cooperation movement. She immediately left London and joined the Seva Dal, a Gandhian organization dedicated to social justice. In 1924, Kamaladevi worked as a volunteer at the Congress session, Belgaum, which changed the course of her life. She was given the responsibility of recruiting, organizing, training women and girls of all age to become sevikas in the Sevadal. In 1926, she met the suffragette Margaret E. Cousins, the founder of All India Women's Conference, who inspired her to run to the Madras Provincial Legislative Assembly. You can see the picture of Margaret there. Then she became the first woman to run for a legislative seat in India. Unfortunately, she lost by 55 votes due to the patriarchal beliefs at that particular time. Though she lost in the elections, with Margaret's help, she became the General Secretary of All India Women's Educational Conference in the same year. She played a significant role in the lives of women who participated in the national movement. She started touring the country, addressing the public about the need to give equal status to women in the society. She campaigned for the Central Legislative Assembly to pass legislation like the child marriage restraint and age of consent bills, the women's right to property, the children's guardianship under her leadership. She did a lot to elevate the position of women and their status throughout her tenure in AIWC. Next slide, please. In March 1930, Kamala Devi experienced the single most turning point of her life. Gandhiji gave a clarion call for civil disobedience movement, starting with Dandi March, the Salt Satyagraha or Salt March it is called. This movement was a non-violent protest against the British rule, particularly against the British monopoly on salt production and the high salt tax. Gandhiji and his followers walked 240 miles from Sabarmati to Ashram to Dundee to break the salt law and produce their own salt. Throughout India, demonstrations were held and discriminatory laws were flouted. Gandhiji was against women's participation but had to give in when Kamala was pursued adamantly. Gandhiji rejected the ideas, and it was inconceivable to ask women to disobey the laws and go to jail. Unmoved by Gandhiji's concern, Kamala was a part of seven-member team, and the only other woman was Avantika Bai Gokhale. Um, Kamala resigned as the secretary of the Women's Conference, devoted herself to the cause of the civil disobedience movement. She was arrested along with the other satyagrahis and spent a year in jail along with Sarojini Naidu, and who was her sister-in-law. In 1931, Sardar Patel, and the then Congress president, entrusted Kamala with training the Sevikas for Sevadal, and she set up a training center at Borivali, which had an overwhelming response. She clung to the Indian flag, to protect it, and gained widespread media attention for it when she was arrested. The Orange Brigade, as the Sevikas were called, successfully carried out picketing the liquor shops that caused a loss of revenue to the government. The government banned Sevadal, closed the training center at Borivali in 1932, arrested Kamaladevi, and in the Author Road jail, she met Meera Ben, a close disciple of Gandhiji. And from Outer Road, she was sent to Belgaum jail, and Kamala was there. She fell seriously, very ill, and was released later on. And again, she was jailed and was sent to a solitary confinement at the Vellore jail for a year. This was the most trying period for Kamala, as she was officially separated from her husband Virendranath. They were separated probably due to the constant political conflicts, and also due to her uh, deeply involved with the political movement of our country. Next slide, please. Released from jail, Kamala Devi became an active member of Congress Socialist Party. She started her own work at the grassroots level. She worked along with Ram Manohar Lohia and Jay Prakash Narayan in the year 1936 to bring justice to the workers. She improved the deplorable condition of the prisoners when she was imprisoned at various prisons, and she saw the plight of how the prisoners were treated and the deplorable conditions they lived in. And immediately she built a hospital for the inmates and improved their condition. She also further went to improve the conditions of the cashew nut workers and peasants and increase their wages and their working conditions too. 1936, Nehru became the Congress president, and he inducted three people of the Socialist Party into his cabinet. One was Jay Prakash Narayan, second one is Achyut Patwardhan, and the third was Acharya Narendra Dev. Both of them were quite, all three of them were young, and into the Congress Working Committee. Gandhiji had a mixed feeling towards Kamala and was quite puzzled at her deep insight of her or her involvement in the political arena. He admired her boldness and independent spirit and appreciated her organization capabilities. In 1938, Subhash Chandra Bose was elected as Congress president. Clashes between Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhi were seen in the Tripura Congress conference, which led to a mass resignation of the Congress Working Committee except Nehru. Next slide, please. Yeah, yes, thank you. From 1939 to 1941, Kamala stayed away from active politics when she went to visit USA, Japan, and China with her son. The British did not allow her to land in Hong Kong, but she managed, and there she met Sun Yat sen, a Chinese physician, revolutionary leader, then statesman, political philosopher, and the president of Republic of China. She became a celebrity in Japan and when she interacted with people during her stay there. After a brief time, she attended meeting All India's Women's Conference AIWC, and she set up a camp in Gujarat to train women. On her return from Gujarat, she found there's a small correction in the political arena. Socialist Party was split, and many trade unions and student organizations drifted towards communists. August 8th, a very important day in our history of India, Gandhiji launched the Quit India movement. In Kamala's words, for the first time, fire and bitterness crept in his voice, and as he said to the nation, this is an open rebellion. The British, the brutal British, hacked down on every Congress leader, then arrested. And in that, Kamala too was arrested, and once again she was isolated and sent to the Vellore jail. And due to health grounds, she was released briefly in the year 1944. After that, a series of developments like the Red Fort trials, arrested Bose, then Azad Hind Fauj officers, and the mutiny of India's navy. Kamala was distressed as the chief naval officer and his close associates were also arrested, who were her friends. Captain Lakshmi Sehgal's um, 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 Amu Swaminathan's daughter of Azad Hind Fauj was also arrested. She was very close to Kamala and also participated in the freedom movement. This came to a shock to Kamala, and as she was very close to her. Nehru again became the president of Congress Working Committee. He requested Kamala to join the Congress Working Committee. Though she refused initially, Ram Manohar Lohia has requested her to join, gave permission for her to join. In her autobiography, she wrote, in her words, I quote, I could not, however, but feel like the Socialist Party's sacrificial goat offered to stifle Pandit Nehru's discomfort. The Congress Social Party was against partition and the split with Congress on this particular issue. Kamala implored Gandhiji to stop the partition, but it was then too late. Next slide, please. Kamala's words, I quote, I left the highway of politics to step into the side lane of construction work. After independence, Kamala took on a new role, that of a nation building, community building, then construction and rehabilitation. These are very important things which she focused on. She helped the Hindu migrants who fled from northwest frontier province on the outskirts of Delhi, and she rehabilitated 50,000 refugees and built a cooperative township now known as Faridabad with the help of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the President of India. She founded the Indian Cooperative Union for the refugees who lost their homes, the land, and livelihood. Despite the indifference of Delhi state cooperative department's indifference attitude, although she kept on persisting for 8 months, she worked and set up the agricultural cooperative in 400 acres of land in Chhatarpur, and soon there were half a dozen, followed by that cooperative farms at work, which improved the lives of the peasants or the farmers. Faridabad township became a thriving township and which was built with 600 kilowatts of electricity, then ran their own transportation service, schools, then health centers, shops, bazaars, etc. By 1958, about 5,118 houses were constructed, tube wells sunk, and arranged government loans and funds for the refugees, and built a railway station. Faridabad was a model town under her supervision. And she completed the construction of it within the stipulated time of 3 years, and this became a model township. According to her, I quote, projects are nurtured into growth not through personal projection but with tender affection. Next slide, please. Kamala, in her own words, I quote, I believe that arts and crafts were an Indian way of life, and we should be proudest if we worked with our own hands. In 1950s, Kamala was disillusioned with Nehru and his ideologies and policies, and she was worried about the Western methods of factory-based missionary mass production seen and visioned by Nehruji. It would affect the traditional artisans, especially the women in the unorganized sector. In 1952, she set up to create All India Handicrafts Board. She set up a series of craft museums to hold and archive India's indigenous arts and craft that served as a storehouse. You can see the pictures of lovely artwork in the slide. Nehru praised Kamala's experimental farm at Chhatarpur when he visited to address the farmers and was very much impressed with Kamala's work. She set up a refugee handicraft shop in Connaught Place, and later she set up the Central Cottage Industries Emporium and organized all India level arts and crafts exhibition to generate income and to eliminate money lenders or intermediate or middlemen. Since her childhood, she was aware of the underprivileged and impoverished artisans and craftsmen. She was inspired by Gandhiji's work of indigo peasants at Champaran, understood why Gandhiji encouraged the spinning wheel and the khadi. Her words, I quote, it was only after I met Gandhiji that I came to understand the deep relationship of handicrafts in our daily life. In all the sessions of All India Congress sessions wherever it took place, exhibitions of artisans, weavers, potters came from all over the country to showcase their talent and exhibits. It improved their lives and it was their source of income too. This was the greatest help which she could do for the arts and crafts session. Kamala was then made the president of Arts and Craft, and she made it compulsory for their branches to work to carry out the work of crafts and support women. Next slide, please. According to the art critic G. Venkatachalam, I quote, Kamala's love for arts had many roots from her childhood in Mangalore. Pandit Nehru saw her passion, requested her to head the statutory board of All India Handloom and Handicraft Board set up by the Government of India in 1952, and she held the post for almost 2 decades. During this period, She traveled across India, studying existing tradition of weaving, pottery, then sculpture, metalwork, toy making, jewelry making. She met the artisans, praised their work, helped and appreciated their work. She was affectionately called by them as Hastakalama by the craftsmen. She revived the dying art craft, organized exhibitions and stalls, set up stalls to both in India as well as in abroad, and ensured them a steady income. UNESCO, the World Crafts Council, came into being during this particular period and helped Kamala with funds and setting up the stalls and exhibitions too. Some of the regional centers covered Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America. She set up cottage industries between 1956 and 64, worked tirelessly towards it, and cottage emporium were seen throughout India and the World Craft Council abroad. Her passion for theatre made her to establish National School of Drama in 1959 under the auspices of Sangeet Natak Academy in 1975 and Bharat Natya Sangha. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Recognizing her outstanding contribution, the Government of India conferred innumerable awards, and to name a few, Padma Bhushan in 1955, Padma Vibhushan in 1987, Brahman Magsaysay in 1966, UNESCO Award in 1977, Ratna Satsay Award in 1974, Dashikotamma Award by Shanti Niketan, and etc. And she was also a member honorary international puppetry. She was the most influential woman of the 20th century. Her struggles must go down in the annals of history, and her successes must be cherished. Next slide, please. Kamala's contribution to literature added another facet in her life. She authored almost 18 books covering varied topics starting from history, colonization, then tribalism, handicrafts, feminism, and world politics extra. She was a prolific writer. Her acclaimed biography, Inner Races and Outer Spaces memoir, was published in 1986. She lived an extraordinary life, donning several caps, covering a wide spectrum of political, social, and cultural life. She played a unique role in India's freedom movement, struggle, then post independence, and also in the pre independent era, and she left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche by reviving Indian handicraft, promoting dance, drama, art, theatre, music, and puppetry. In every field she ventured, she left an imprint that continued to impact the lives of millions in India and beyond. She lived ahead of her times, perhaps even in today's standards. As Indian President R. Venkataraman rightfully said about her death in 1988 in Bombay at the age of 85, I quote, "It is difficult to prefix the word late to Kamala's name because hers was and will always be a palpable reserve." The last slide, please. Yes, thank you. My humble pranams to Professor Nandan Shastri sir, the doyen of history. I'm extremely President, History Enthusiastic Group. I'm extremely grateful for to introduce me to this vibrant history group enthusiasts. Your messages, your information in the group are very enriching, encouraging, and your inputs are priceless and valuable. Thank you so much, sir. I am deeply honored and indebted to you. There is always a saying that two heads are better than one. The two encyclopedias, Manali Momaya, the founder, president, and Nidhi Khatri, founder, vice president, History Enthusiastic Group, are, are walking historians. Let me say that. My profound thanks to both of them, especially Nidhi and Manali, for today's coordinating the session. Thank you, Manali, and thank you, Nidhi, for helping out with the PPT. I belong to the old school of and not at all a tech savvy person. Today's world is becoming very much digitalized, and every day the technology is changing, which is also very confusing to me. And thank you, both of you, and Nandan Shastri sir. It is an honor. And also, I thank the wonderful audience and the delegates who have joined in today's session. At this juncture, I also would like to add Geeta Barlikia ma'am, the estimation group. It was she who introduced me to this vibrant group too. And my profound thanks to the organizers, to the participants, and who were listening patiently to my lecture. Thank you all. Is there any questions? I'd like
Uh, Thank you so much, Professor, for the comprehensive and richly textured lecture on Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay, a woman whose life, as you have shown us just now, cannot be boxed into one role, one movement, or one moment in history. Through your presentation, we have been reminded that Kamala Devi was not just a freedom fighter, but a fierce reformer, a champion of women's rights, a revivalist of Indian art and heritage, and a voice of compassion in times of displacement and crisis. Her legacy is a powerful testament to how nation building happens, not just on the political platforms, not just on the front lines, but also in classrooms, in craft centers, in cooperatives and refugee settlements. It was particularly striking to hear how she wove together activism, art, policy, and grassroots engagement into a coherent vision for a truly self reliant India, a vision that still speaks to us today, perhaps even more urgently. With that, we now move into the interactive segment of today's session. So, there are some questions in the chat box, ma'am. I
yeah.
would like to take those up. uh, First one, Nandan Shastri sir has asked, Vittal Bhai Patel was the president of Indian Legislative Assembly. I think he's the elder brother of Vallabhbhai Patel, if I'm not wrong. Did Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay come in his contact, especially for the passing of the Widow Remarriage Act?
I think so. He probably because Kamala Devi's father was a great, uh, what do you call, politically active, and many these politicians had come across, and probably he also supported Girija Bai, Kamala Devi's mother, and that made an impact on Kamala, and with her mother's and grandmother's support, because she was a young widow at that time, and you know how child widows were treated. So this should not fall as an impact on her. So probably he was also instrumental in asking Girija Bai, that is Kamala's mother, to move from Mangalore to Chennai because of, like Sir has put.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I have a question also.
Yes,
So, Kamala Devi's work with refugee rehabilitation and the founding of Faridabad Township, which you spoke about in
yes,
your presentation, was truly
yes,
visionary. Do you
yes.
think her approach offers lessons for addressing displacement in today's global refugee crisis? Because we see everywhere that people are displaced for various reasons.
She was a role model at that particular time because she was imprisoned, and she saw the pitiful conditions of people living in deplorable state. The urge to do something for the society, for these people, especially for the refugees. There are 50,000 refugees who came from the Hindu migrants, they were called, who came from the northwest frontier region. She wanted to do something for them. And she was also encouraged by the political leaders at that particular time, and she showed her mettle by constructing Faridabad town within the stipulated of 3 years. After that, Nehru had come to address the Congress meeting there, and he was so shocked and surprised to see how beautifully she has constructed Faridabad town, which helped the peasants or the farmers' lives. Understand, by setting up so many things like the banks, understand, earning. See, these people did not have any means of earning, which probably she played that a role of helping them by setting up banks, union banks, I just and others, and to stand on their own feet. She did a tremendous job, and that Faridabad remains as a modern township even till today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sudeep has asked, what can young people today learn from Kamala Devi's life and apply in their own lives?
Commitment, hard work. We learn. So today's generation always learn. We always quote the past. Understand? They have left and carved a niche for themselves. So her commitment, her though she had faced a lot of problems, she overcome. She had overcome all that, and determination, the passion to help. See, she was not only like what you mentioned, a revolutionary leader into politics. She was into politics. She also set up, improved the artisans. She also set up mm, um, stalls to stand up on their own feet, and she encouraged us. See, these are some of the things which her passion, her dedication, the commitment towards her work is something which we have to look upon her. And today's generation, maybe slightly they're lacking into that, but she plays a very important role and setting up a very good example for today's generation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is my question again.
Uh,
You highlighted that Kamala Devi met with figures like Sun Yat Sen and became a celebrity in Japan. How
hmm.
important was the international exposure in shaping her ideas of nationalism and social reform, and also how she was viewed as a leader in India because of these things?
She traveled abroad frequently. Sometimes, due to heavy political work or differences in political parties, she had time to go abroad. And during one of the, she traveled I think, yeah, the British did not allow her to land in Hong Kong, but somehow, due to her political influence, she wanted to meet Sun Yat Sen. Probably she took, his examples and his ideas because he was already a very popular leader of Republic of China. And a woman at that particular time going and meeting the political leaders and inculcating the ideas was very important at that political time of the struggle in India at that particular time. And also, um, um, she was very popular in Japan, mingling with the people there, talking to them, encouraging them. She loved Japan. She loved, according to what I have read and talking. And soon she became a very popular figure in Japan, China, Hong Kong, and wherever she went. In fact, even in US, she had a small incident of racial discrimination in Louisiana. Um, so that did not deter her. So she was a brave. person, and also she worked hard. She was a committed person and very focused in what she wanted.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There is a question by Dr. Jagdish. If someone wanted to learn more about Kamala Devi, which of her books or biographies would you recommend to start with for entrance, for to enter the um, particular knowledge field?
I have made some references. One is her own biography, which I've taken. Then I would recommend A Portrait of a Rebel, that is by Brijbhushan Jamila Chattopadhyay, and The Awakening of Indian Women, Madras, Everyman's Press. It was published in 1939. And also, I have mentioned this book, Inner Races and Outer Spaces Memoirs, in my slide there and in my talk. Then, of course, Ramchandra Guha, popular historian, makers of modern India, but also he mentions about Kamala. Then, like, who was Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay by the Indian Express National newspaper had got a beautiful write up about her. And also the National Herald, Kamala Devi, how could we forget her? These are some of the articles, newspaper articles, and books which were written by other people. I think these are something which we have to. I have read all this and I've taken some points from these books. It's very important to have these books to read.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The just a last couple of questions by me again. So this is one. She campaigned for the age of consent bill, and that continues to remain a controversial aspect in Indian society always, and for women's right to property at a time when such ideas were considered radical. How do you think her feminist stance compares to that of the other contemporaneous leaders who also worked for women's rights at the time?
The gender, the female gender, always had a what do you call it, the did not have a voice. Today's women are totally different to what they were then. So she worked very hard. She was a feminist and she worked very hard to improve the conditions of women in all aspects. See, when she was imprisoned in jail, I think 2, 3 jails she has been transferred, she saw the plight of the women and the deplorable conditions they lived. And her own family trauma, which her sisters have gone through, they were physically abused by their husbands, and she lost both her sisters at that particular time. Then she also saw the deplorable conditions during her travel to Northeast and other places. The deplorable conditions of factory workers, cashinet workers, the difference in the wages, the timings, all this, uh, the determination to improve the conditions of women is something. And there were political leaders who who helped her and understood her idea to help and give a voice to women. And the political leaders also knew that she was totally into whatever commitment she is, whatever thing she was doing, she was committed to it. So she had political influence, great political leaders to help her out in every aspect. And especially for women, she has done a lot. I think I have put that in my slide.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And my last question, this is a question that I ask all the resource persons about the personality which they are talking about. Do you feel Kamala Devi's legacy is adequately acknowledged in our academic curricula and popular media memory today? If not, where do you think the gaps lie?
Yes, if you heard my introduction, especially in 2022, all the women leaders were recognized and acknowledged. For a woman who have done a lot in the pre-independent era, in the post-independent era, in all the other fields, she did not get due recognition. That is why I chose this topic. because a woman of her caliber have to be rightfully recognized. Though she won innumerable awards, that is a different question. But somewhere I feel that she was left at the back, yeah, or the back, and not much voice was given, not much recognition was given to her work. Though she had difference of opinions with political leaders, yes, a woman can have at that particular time, but she did not get her due recognition. So I feel that such leaders, they leave a footprint, and they need to be taken as an example for today's generation. She was a thorough feminist and did a lot for the women, improved the conditions of women, improved the conditions of the refugees, gave a name to the identity for a woman she has given. That's a very important thing.
Absolutely, ma'am. And one last question by Professor Rajkumar Hans. He has asked, how did she respond to the Hindu Code Bill?
Okay. I don't know much about it. I don't know. Somewhere I've read the caste system played a very important role, yeah, in our country. And I don't know. I think I should read up. I'm sorry. Hindu code bill. Yeah, somewhere I tried, but then if you have
No
any
problem,
idea,
ma'am.
you can. Uh,
I have no idea either. I will also
yeah, yeah,
look it
Hindu
up.
code bill.
And
I think I'll look it up. That's a very good question by sir.
yes, ma'am. So we can come back to that. We can have a written correspondence for that particular question later
Yes,
on.
yes, yes.
So I would just like to read out the comment which is posted by Usha Devi ma'am, Professor M.V. Usha Devi from Bengaluru. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations for organizing a relevant webinar. Indeed, very relevant, ma'am. And as you have just mentioned, even though Kamala Devi has contributed so much to this country, sometimes we see that she is just a passing reference in a history textbook, which is not the due respect that she deserves. We
Got it.
must give her more than that. She has done a lot for this nation, and she should be remembered accordingly. And Rajkumar Hunt sir has also written excellent presentation, which
Thank
it indeed
you.
was.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
yes. So, ma'am, we have come to the end of today's session. Before we move to the vote of thanks, I would like to ask you if you have any message for the viewers watching and for young researchers like me.
I sincerely thank all the viewers. Learning is not an end, it is a process for patiently hearing me out, whatever little I could read and understand. Kamala Devi always reminds me of today's generation. We have a lot to learn from her, and she overcame a lot of difficulties. The encouragement given by her mother and grandmother, family support is very, very important. Having the right friends, having the right frame of mind is also important. And then determination, the goal towards towards the goal, which she has done it. And she was also uh, let us say, sympathetic towards women. She being a feminist and have gone through a lot. I think today's younger generation, we take all these people, the great stalwarts of yesteryears, as an example, and I think we should, like rightfully as you mentioned, unfortunately, very little has been mentioned about her in the textbooks. She should remain in the annals of history forever for her immense contribution in all kinds of spheres. Thank you
Absolutely,
everyone
ma'am.
for your patient hearing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And absolutely, as you mentioned, today we are lacking empathy, and the kind of empathy that Kamala Devi had, just because she experienced something and she saw the experiences of others, she stood up and fought for them. That kind of
Yes,
empathy is exemplary, and we should all definitely inculcate that in our lives. So, thank you
yes.
for your beautiful message, ma'am. I
Thank
would
you.
now like to request Honorary President of the History Enthusiast, Shri Nandan Shastri sir to propose a vote of thanks.
Before proposing vote of thanks, let me express my happiness to know from today's Dr. B. Susheela's talk that Kamaladevi was a passionate advocate for Indian arts and crafts, working tirelessly to preserve and promote traditional crafts. Her efforts had a significant impact on the arts in post-colonial India, and the National Crafts Museum in New Delhi is the best testimony of Indian arts and crafts. One should visit that museum. So I express my sense of gratitude to respected Dr. Susheela B for enlightening us today uh, regarding the contribution of Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay. And I thank Manali and Nidhi uh, right from planning stage till today. They have worked tirelessly preparing for today's online event. And I thank Manali for anchoring and giving introduction uh, of Dr. Susila B. And I thank many dignitaries who have attended today's talk, as well as I thank uh, all the attendees of today's uh, event. Thanks to all. And Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you. I also thank Nandan sir for his constant support and guidance. And once again, personally and on behalf of the history enthusiasts, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So we will be coming back with more lectures in this particular series. We have several lectures lined up, but we will give you the details once the dates are finalized. So stay tuned for that. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe so that you get the notifications for every new lecture. We are ending the stream here, but hoping to see you all very soon. Thank you so much.
Manali, this is a
Yes.
wonderful initiative taken by you and Nidhi with your mentor Nandan Shastri sir. And to each session I'm seeing, it is so informative, and the topics what you have chosen is so relevant in today's world. I sincerely thank you for such a beautiful what you call Itihasotsava which you have. I think you are the brain behind it. As I mentioned in my talk, you note that you both are walking ancestors, Nidhi and you. Keep up the good spirits. Also, my heartfelt and humble thanks to Manchas. I'm so honored to have met him in this platform. I always follow him and he's so active in the history group. I'll be eagerly waiting for his message, and I'll be reading every one of it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my dear Manali and Nidhi.
Thank Thank you
Thank
so
you
much, ma'am. Thank you.
for
And
your
I
also.
would be doing a
Yes, sir.
disservice if sorry, yes. So you were saying something?
Thanks for your appreciation. Manali and Nidhi are doing their level best, and I am also time to time guiding them. And we will keep in contact, Dr. B. Sushila. Uh,
Yes, sir. Thank
for
you, sir.
So yes, I would be doing a disservice if I forgot to mention this name. So since ma'am, you told about the theme of this lecture being very relevant and unique, I would like to mention the name of my professor, Dr. Shiladhar Mugli sir, who will
Oh,
also be giving a lecture in this particular series.
okay.
In fact, today his lecture was scheduled, but for some reasons, it has to be rescheduled. We will have it later this month.
Okay.
So it was his idea that we should have a lecture series on the historiographical contributions of national leaders.
Okay.
So thanking him also on this particular occasion.
yes,
That's what I was telling. A very good initiative taken by you and Nidhi under the guidance of Shastri sir. I think this also will give enlighten many of us who are listening. And this is a month-long series, as if you remember telling. and I'm sure every participant or every resource person, I'm eager to read. I'm not a what do you call historian, or I did not do my history. I did my MPhil at that those days where I applied for PhD, and whichever I got first admission, I joined PhD in English literature and language. I still want to do my history PhD. That's what I told you. If you know anything about it, please let me know. History always remained my favorite subject, as I mentioned. I think Sir also will be knowing Mr. M.L.K. Murthy. I am his
Mhm.
grand niece of Hyderabad. He was the one who did an archaeologist in Usmania University. I did my MPhil in Usmania under his guidance. So I'm very honored once again and happy to be in your group, and also the lovely comments from Nandan Shastri sir. Deeply honored and indebted to you, sir.
And Dr. Susheela, I have used extensively the English Literature Library of
Oh,
small Armstrong Library of
okay.
Baylor University, Waco in
Uh,
Texas. Uh,
okay.
Although
Yeah, that's really
I'm
nice.
a museologist, I am very much
Okay.
interested in English literature as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, my dear Manali.
Thank you, everyone. We are signing off here. So, see you all very, very soon. Bye bye. Have a great weekend.